This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat for Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Hopefully you're doing amazingly well. Market's up today on bogus GDP numbers, which when I say bogus, meaning it's all on fiscal deficit spending that's not sustainable. And yeah, got to be careful. Got to be careful out there. Either way, I mean, if you're long, short, waiting, have positions, just do yourself a huge favor. Again, define your risk, set your stops, run up your trail stops if you have positions. Do yourself a favor. Do not assume anything, because I think we're about to get some really wide and loose action. This is, again, in my opinion, very reminiscent of the dot-com bubble, just the way that semis are acting. It's pretty wild, guys. I mean, they're pricing in what looks like a Tesla move. Do you guys remember in 2021? Tesla move, just straight line. Bonkers. Didn't make sense. Pricing in the world of all world moves. And then guess what? We're here where we're at now, right? The backside of the mountain. So we'll get into that here shortly. But if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room. Link in the description below. If you want to connect, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me drop the Calendly link in the description below for you guys. Give me 2 seconds. And if you want, again, it's always open. Check my schedule. If you'd like to chat, don't hesitate to reach out. Here for you guys. And again, some people are like, oh, you this, and that. And, you know, they have either positive or negative things. Again, I don't care. If you want to talk about it, feel free to reach out. Interesting action, right? I'm trying to keep on top of the news here, and it's just jobs cuts, and there's tons of them. New to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. Updating the website, almost done, getting close. And yeah, let's just get into it. Also too, follow on Twitter, because I apologize to the Discord room members for watching this. For some reason, the latest update within X, they're not sharing direct tweets to my Discord, so I apologize. So if you're wondering, like, hey, what charts are you posting? What are you up to? And you're not always on Discord, but you're perusing the X. It's weird saying that, right? This is where to find it. So we know for a fact the GDP numbers 3.3% versus 2%. Okay, all fiscal deficit spending. So, hold on 1 second. We know there's no cut or anything coming next week. March, this is dwindling lower and lower. We're at this point where they don't really know. Again, have they ever navigated a soft landing? Not to my knowledge. No, not soft at all. So be careful. Just please be careful out there. Because again, could we break out, sustain? Not going to argue that it couldn't. So at this point, that's where, again, if you know me, I talked about my positions that I thought it would be better to stop out and just be patient. I know some folks in the Discord room are nailing some good entries on other trades. Cool. Do what you got to do, right? I mean, again, just be careful. My biggest concern is next week when you do have that Fed meeting on the 31st, aka next Wednesday. And could the market hold up, chop around? Now, this is the thing. Some things will do certain things, meaning like some things will hold up, some things will probably pull back, some things will just chop around. And so ride your winners and sell the losers. I mean, again, you could go long, could go short. I mean, it's like you want to trace, you go right ahead. Bitcoin, as we've talked about, how many times has there been a big event and something sells off? It's called buy the rumor, sell the news. And I'm not mad at my Bitcoin friends, but I'm like, you guys get sucked into this every time. And it's no different in trading too, right? You get sucked into like chasing the highs, wink, wink, on news, wink, wink. And then at some point there's a blow off and then you fade back 20% minimum. So we got the 20% pullback. And now what? I mean, if you want to trade it, go right ahead. Personally, again, I think it's kind of like gold, silver, miners, all the materials, commodities, industrials. I'm waiting for the Feds to pivot. So I hope that helps. Give me 2 seconds. Do, 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 do. So Bitcoin, careful. Oil and gas, we talked about there's a huge short interest, right? We know this. But here's the problem. The Feds got to refill the SPR. Good luck. It's going to be choppy and sloppy. Nat gas, again, I like the short of the KOLD. UNG finally split. We've talked about how if you followed this channel and you follow the Discord, all that stuff, we know that usually leverage ETFs at big split points can be extremes, meaning bottoms and tops. This would be interesting if the UNG bottoms post split. Here you go. Here's the 1 for 4 reverse right here. Now again, I prefer, be careful. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, could you go long natural gas? Yeah. With stops, right? I like it. I think it makes sense to me. I don't think there's much downside. I really think the easiest trade is like shorting the UVXY would be of natural gas would be the KOLD. You're like, what do you mean, Dan? That looks strong. And it's like, no. Zoom out, my friend. Zoom out. This is the UVXY, literally. Right? Like it came out, the ETF came out, and then it's just been. And if you're like, what does that mean? Well, here. This is what the UVXY has done since its inception. So I got a piece of pepper. It's just been an absolute piece of trash. Oh, and you're like, oh, but look, it's spiked real big. Yes. Every once in a while it does that. No one's saying it won't. But my favorite trade of all time, see when you zoom out, you're like, oh, it's nothing. My favorite trade of all time is always going to be, and I will repeat this on record, always, is when the VIX spikes over 40, 50, and short in UVXY. I mean, it's literally free money. Because then you can start selling out of the money calls and just, I mean, that's kind of probably the best setup to wait for. If you really, really, really want to play the market in that sense. That's, to me, would be the best setup. So, be thoughtful, be careful. Because again, I mean, it just seems like a matter of time. Let me scroll through. The VIX, we've talked about, like, it's just basing. It's like, what is it waiting for? I don't know. But here, this is the thing. Like, I love to go back in time, and I'll show you guys on the monthly. Because if you're newer, leave a comment below. If you want to leave a review, no, I'm just kidding. If you have a comment, feel free to jump in. But look at all the major VIX spikes over the last, 20 years. Look how high we got in 2022. Even COVID went nutty. Nowhere close. And so look what we're basing at. Now, is it going to be like this for years? Well, that would be the start of a bull market, in my opinion. Are we at the start of a bull market? I don't know. I guess you could argue COVID. Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Right? It's easy to be wrong and revisionist and stick to things. I'd rather just be, at this point, trying to be pliable. It's interesting watching Apple rip high of the day here. Again, earnings coming out soon. Be careful with these tech names. I mean, again, Meta. I mean, Zuckerberg can't sell fast enough. But hey, it's holding up. I think they're getting some sort of, a subsidy from the state of Indiana. Give me 2 seconds. Is that what it was? I know they had some news. Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a subsidy or it's what, but that was in the news for those guys today. Metal like a high, we know Microsoft's laying off people. We know Google's laying off YouTube people. We know Tesla is an absolute dumpster fire. I am going to go on record here and say the same thing I said about in 2021. This will be a double-digit stock at some point. Now, could it bounce here near term? It's always possible. These big gap downs tend to have a little more follow-through with them. But, I mean, personally, again, the next election is going to be wild. Trump is talking about removing the electric car mandate. You're seeing a lot of, Ford losing money, Chevy losing money. Everybody's losing money making electric cars. Okay, well, Tesla's not. We'll give them credit there. And again, I mean, I think their biggest strength is some of the other technologies. Because again, making cars is not a high margin business. I think their margin was 17%. For all the effort of building a car, mining lithium, building the batteries, putting it all together, 18% margin. Not so good. Not so good. So again, longer term, they're going to price that like a car company at some point, which means, I mean, if you look at Toyota, I'm pretty sure Toyota is trading at a double-digit PE, somewhere in the 20s max. We'll see where Tesla's at. And again, if you're one of these, and again, I hate to call you an idiot, but I got to call you an idiot sandwich. Like those people who bought like the AMC wave or they bought the GameStop. I mean, you buy these hope and hype stocks, hoping they're all NVIDIA or Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, and I'm going on record again, 95% of those names are going to go back down tremendously, where every once in a while one of them turns into an NVIDIA. Just got to be careful, guys. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Zeph. If the manufacturers develop better cars and productivity and stop relying on government subsidies when they are in trouble. Yeah, I mean, they're going to probably try to rely on government subsidies, but, I mean, somebody knows something, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Trump is going to run on some sort of platform of removing these subsidies and really pushing for the removal of these mandates. Is that priced into the stock yet? Because again, it's not saying that Trump is going to win. Like, I don't want to talk about the politics of it, but just in general, like right now, I think the Democrats are polling at 31%. Was it 21? Like, extremely badly. Whatever it is, bad. And Trump is, polling at like a 71, 81%, which is huge. And so again, if you see that coming, would you want to hold Tesla? And I'm not talking about that's about curse. The ding-dongs on Twitter, because again, watch, I can probably go through my Twitter and someone's going to say, I'm buying 100 shares of Tesla today. Let's go. See how long it takes me to find someone. All right, well, no, not my man, Sven. He's not talking about it, but how many quotes can I go through? Someone says, I'm buying Tesla. Oh, there's another one. CF no green stop. Okay. Again, if you follow, again, Sunrise Trader, good dude. Follow him. Well, I guess it was me earlier looking through it, but go explore. Let's see what's trending. Right? Is Tesla even on there? There you go. Would you be willing to bet that every single one of them is a buy? Yeah, you absolutely love it down here. So just be careful, guys. Friends, if you're listening. Again, I'm not a Tesla hater. Yeah, exactly. Sell. Again, people are ignoring the trend. That's all. Oh, boy. Oh, this guy's funny. The clown world. This guy interviews naive men and women. It's pretty hilarious. But anyway, back to trading. Netflix holding up. I mean, again, I've got some interest up here at some point in the show, because I don't think it's going to be able to get over the 570s. Keep that on your radar. Back test the trend line, 570s. That looks juicy J. And again, we love the fib extensions, right? Amazon holding up. Got to give it credit. And again, these are leading the market up. But then there's also a lot of stuff that's not. Just be careful. Again, earnings and Intel coming. Earnings in general. Just, you never know. That's why I always tell people the same thing, how I play the earnings. Again, the second mouse gets the cheese. I'm not going to steal that line. I know Justin Pulitzer, if you follow him on Twitter. Here, let's go back. Good follow. Good dude. Talked to him many times. Let's see if you can see a JP post. Guy straight up. OG. I mean, He's done more private stuff now, but he's definitely been around for as long as I've been. Here you go. Follow this man. He's always posting good stuff. Yeah, the market's not moving much today, but I mean, I'm not surprised it's a little tired, right? It's a good, good thought. But I mean, it's climbing that little wall of worry at this point. And again, that's where I said watch I'm sorry, I didn't do a live chat. Or daily market review. I was just exhausted. And again, when I stop out of positions, and I recommend this for everybody, don't feel like you need to jump back in and stop on, like, start watching the market. Like, if I missed and that was yesterday was the top, so be it. I just mentally need to decompress. And again, I probably won't put on another trade until maybe next week. We do know if it drops, right, the first dip will get bought. So I'm not like, again, I don't have like this anxiety. So just be careful. MicroStrategy, we talked about Bitcoin being shitcoin near term. And so MicroStrategy obviously getting smoked. But it's an interesting area down here. I'd keep an eye on it. I mean, I need to update the chart. I apologize. Where did my mouse go? You have 8 screens. Sometimes it's really hard, as you might imagine, to find the mouse when you start wiggling it. Just a wiggle it, just a little bit. So, making fun. Check it out. Right? You got the 50% fib. I figured there was a decent fib down here. So, that's my guess. Again, and so, again, just be careful. I mean, AMD, we talked about this for the last week and change. Once this broke out, we talked about this. And again, I thought this might be a trap right here. Didn't trap out. Glad we didn't jump back in on that. Did a little short on it. Lost some puts money. Again, out of the money one. Lost 90 cents of premium on some options. Not the first time I've lost 90 cents on an option trade. But we talked about same thing with Taiwan. Semi getting popped. And then NVIDIA. The brokers had to come out and change their targets, right? They had to upgrade. And this is the thing that the brokers, as I call buddy pass, and if Eric's here, him and I kind of coined that term. Not necessarily, I mean, people have already known about it, but coined it from the sense of like making people understand, like, it's a buddy pass. At the highs, the brokers are upgrading. You know, as a brokerage, as an intelligent trader, that you got to be on the red alert for that. Because at the bottoms, what are they doing, right? Who remembers NVIDIA when it was getting just curb stomped and it was down here? I mean, what did it go from 346 down to 110? At the lows, they're downgrading the stock. And so it kind of feels like this gap, but just kept going, going, and going. Well, look at where we're at now, right? I wouldn't say that gap. I would say more of just like this gap off the low, the professional gaps, clearly. Now it's easy to see the pro gaps after it starts. Broke out. How much higher can we run? Don't know. Insight. I've told you guys about this. Like this company. If you go to public data, they had some really good releases at, I think it was the ASH conference. I think this company, if it drops down, it gets interesting to me. Again, I don't have any inside knowledge other than my wife telling me that they had a good review at their conference. She's like paranoid of insider trading. I'm like, no, I don't want to Martha Stewart myself. And so the only thing I can tell, because again, she's like made me sign a waiver. Don't say anything in your trading. I'm like, no, I'll just say it's a good company and I can say what's public data. So I think at some point, if this dips more, as we talked about, XBI, again, I've always had a good eye for buyout candidates with bio. Because again, it's not rocket science. It's just good products, right market cap. Baby bios are really hard, but these mid to smaller, again, $15, $14 billion market cap isn't small. But these companies that have good cash flow, good products coming potentially in the pipeline, they always become buyout targets of the big boys, right? Because they can scrape off 20, 30 billion like it's nothing, especially if they think the cash flow is going to bring in at least that and more over time, right? Right? That's what they're hoping for, right? A big blockbuster deal. And again, you have to remember companies like Insight and some of these other ones like Genentech when they got bought out and Kite Pharma, they had other products too. They weren't just one-trick ponies. So that makes them attractive. Airbnb, we've talked about this one. Again, real estate's in a pickle. Talked about this being a good short. That was good. I mean, that was good too. Chopping around. Now near term, man, it just seems stuck. So give yourself the grace to just let it go. Costco, we talked about like this whole China blowout. If it gets back under 680, now I would watch the 20-day for a bounce, but I would watch any bounce at any point later. Like if it comes down a little further, watch what happens when it squeezes into this old pennant, this old trend line. Again, if you're like, oh, that trend line sucks ass. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's from the past. It could have relevance again. Keep that in mind. Oh. Again, interrupt if you have any questions. I'm going to sip on some water and respond to a text real quick. If you have any questions or comments, thoughts, beliefs. Yeah, and we'll get in again because I think we can look at the materials. I'm the only one on the chat. I think right now there's other people. I can see that. Again, you're not the only person listening, but you're the only person chatting, Zaf. So if you have any comments, I mean, dude, maybe you and I can have a little conversation here. I don't mind at all. There's a lot of people who are listening, concurrent views that aren't typing and chatting. And that's usually what happens. There's a few people who are just kind of doing whatever they're doing and just listening. And so at this point, I guess, yeah, let me jump into Taiwan Semi because this is still my favorite short of the year. I got stopped out of this. And again, like their earnings, if you go look at them, I mean, I'll just show you guys. I mean, it's just they're bufangu. I don't know what that means in translated, but I've always heard some people say that as some sort of negative connotation. Look at this. Back-to-back negative years of revenue, right? Let's see if we can get their guidance. Again, they're just making less and making less. Okay, fine, right? But look at the action. You're back into stuff from 2022, which to me is going to be the resistance zone. Why it's up, again, I don't know. I guess people are expecting peace, which, again, I'm not betting on peace with Taiwan. I am sorry. China has been clear as day with their intentions. I have a sneaky suspicion that at some point, Taiwan Semi is going to struggle because they're going to become a what? Takeover target for the Chinese government. There's a reason why Buffett was unloading up here. Now people go, well, Buffett was wrong. It's like, technically speaking, based on the price action, that would be correct, mon frere. So at this point, what do? You know, you had the 2-day range, which again, I'm shout out to my man Jay Solstice for popping that trade and talking about it. Yeah, you've got a 2-day range. Keep an eye on it. I mean, this thing has just gone again. This big gap up on. Again, look at the numbers every year. They're getting guiding in line for that quarter, but look at the earnings. Like it's just year over year, it's getting less. Remember the share count. There's no growth. But it also tells me something bigger too, because again, Taiwan Semi is where everybody's building their chips. Okay. Interesting to see. Like, is this sustainable in the semis? Because again, we've talked about how you can literally argue that, okay, yeah, NVIDIA's got this. I mean, again, if you go look at their accounting, the way that they're counting things, like something smells fishy. Something smells stanky. Stanky leg. I'm just drawing some charts, just trend lines to see if they fit. And so my point would be just obviously don't jump in front of it. No, it's like, man, you can't draw that trend line unless you zoom in on it. Don't be a hero. Do not be a hero. Because at this point, this thing has been parabolic. But it doesn't mean it can't be shorted at some point. If anything, it makes it actually more enticing. It's just, as I would say to you, Pelosi is undefeated near term at trading. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. I'm gonna remove that one. That, and again, give me 2 seconds. Let me redraw the fibs here. Because you got to take it, look, from here to here. Oops. We got to edit some fibbies in here. Because you can do, love this platform. So you have the 1.618. So I had the 2. Come on. 2.0. Let's add 2.618. Let's do the 2.382. And then, oh God, it's not 2.382 and the 2.5. I'm just curious. Okay. Not even there yet. Wow. Okay. Well, again, this is why you do this sometimes, and I love doing it on the fly. Just be careful. Again, Tesla. I mean, let me dig deeper. If you guys got some time and want to stick around, let me dig deeper into some of the stuff. So, financials got kicked out of them. Do I feel like it's at the highs? Yeah. Is there much upside? No, not in my opinion. You got the big volumes but you gotta respect it. Meaning what? It's still, even though these candles are like concise and tight and they look like they're distributive, go look at the monthly. Like, you'll go back and see this stuff and you'll see wicks. So, no, Jordan, I haven't gone over Cat yet. I have not. Did Cat have earnings today? Did I miss that? Because it hit my trend line. Again, I took the day off mentally yesterday. But thank you for bringing that up. Give me 2 seconds, because clearly they did. Cat QQ looking juicy to the moon. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure they had to have had earnings, right? No, they haven't. Okay, all right, that's nothing. Okay, no. Thank you, Jordan, for pulling that one up. I mean, obviously it says it has earnings on the 5th, right? So keep an eye on that. That's interesting. Look, hit the trend line to the moon. What's up, Space Pete? Aaron, y'all got smoked. Okay, yeah, Q to the moon. I mean, getting smoked would say that you held a short forever and you got smoked. I don't do that. And so I'm not saying I didn't lose at times, but I'm not holding shorts endlessly. That's just not how you survive in trading. It's like poker. You can get pocket aces and still lose. Same thing in a probability-based game. You can put on a trade that looks like a winner, but you can't. Again, here's an example of staying like short NVIDIA would be getting smoked, right? That would be getting smoked. No. I hope no one's doing that. And again, this is the thing. Like, you have to, one of the first things you have to do when you enter a trade is define your risk. So, Aaron, again, I don't mind you trolling. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care. It's not the first time I'll be wrong or the last. Neither is anyone else. And so that's just the nature of the beast. Are there some times where you may hold on longer than you should? That's the nature of it. Yeah. It just is what it is. So if you want to stay long, I mean, because again, yeah. And this is the thing. We talked about, like, it looked good. We knew there'd be some bounce, but it does what it does. But you got to be careful with this volume at the highs. That's all I can say. Is it a new bull market? I mean, we're basically being liquidity pushed, fiscal and fiscally, obviously deficit spending. I mean, if you go look at the GDP, I mean, all the GDP at this point is government spending. That's all it is. Is that sustainable? Nope. And so you're going into an election, which we know this year is going to be absolutely wild. We know the Feds have never navigated a soft landing. We know the Feds are clueless, actually, because again, Aaron, I don't know if you've been around, but I've showed in the previous past, like on certain videos. Go look at, for example, like the Colorado market. Like I can show you price decrease, price decrease, price decrease, price decrease. I can actually tell you that my house, one of the houses that we own, our neighbor sold their house. We thought their house has a finished basement. At one point, the government, I mean, I could show you the assessor assessed our house at $1,050,000. And this was in June of 2023. A house next door, it's too bad I didn't get their listing, with a finished basement, sold for $815 2 weeks ago. It was just in Florida. I haven't seen that many houses for sale in a long time there. Now, again, I'm not saying like the housing market's going to crash, but we know it's softening. We know commercial real estate's softening, right? We know China is an absolute mess, Aaron. Do you know that when they pop these stimuluses, it doesn't matter? Because people don't realize that in China right now, the best way for them to fight the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, they just stopped paying their debts. Once they started putting tanks in front of banks and basically restricting anybody from pulling money out of the system, they said, well, you know what? We got you. Checkmate, bitch. And I'm talking about to Xi and all them. They're just not paying their debts. And so now they got to print more money to try to facilitate the debt implosion that's going on over there. And now, again, when does it max out? I don't know. I mean, go look at the FXI. People are saying this is a screaming double buy, which, again, near term, it probably makes sense, right? Oversold. But you're back at lows that we haven't seen in what? But Aaron's going to sit here and say, well, you got to stay bullish. Okay, well, again, there's mixed signals here. It's not clear at all, in my opinion. You're back at 2008 levels. Europe's a mess. Again, China can stimulate all they want. It doesn't matter. Cat making all-time highs, yet you shorted. Aaron, if you're not, again, clearly you don't follow the channel and someone can speak in. We shorted up here. It did amazing. We stopped, we talked about taking profits, took a little short and then stopped out. But again, the trade overall was a win. Did not short recently. I am on record. Go watch these videos saying waiting for this trend line. Well, guess what? We hit it today. I'm not shorted, but I know Jordan. Feel free to speak up if you want. Aaron, again, if you want to be one of those people that just picks and chooses your moments to come in, that's great. I don't care. But I know for a fact, again, me being who I am and honesty, truth being one of my morals, values, I can tell you we did well on that trade. We did real good. We tried to take some shorts on the little pops, did it once and was wrong. All right, cool. Now you're back at the trend line and you're literally coming out to this video. Again, this is why I love when trolls show up. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because they don't usually do it at the lows. Not saying, hey, Dan, good short. They're saying it at the highs. I mean, you literally can't make this up. You literally, again, thank you. Thank you. Now, again, they have earnings on the 5th, so be careful. But I love when trolls come out and they just say, oh, Here you go. Riding the upper trend bound. Thanks, Shannon, for tapping that in. Again, I mean, not every trade's been a win. Again, it's been a stock picker's market. Keep in mind, like it has been an absolute stock picker's market. Some stocks doing well, some not doing well. The IWM, again, we know that the Magnificent 7, I guess you can call it the Magnificent 6, has basically carried the S&P 500. IWM has been an absolute piece of junk. No, I appreciate it. Because, again, I don't mind if people want to haze, but it's like, don't lie. Don't make up shit. Yeah, exactly, Zeph. It depends on your longer term, short term, trader, investor. Again, I look at this as a trade because, again, shorting isn't a long-term investment. It's all trades. So we don't go short and stay short forever. I mean, if you want me to start cherry picking stuff, anyone remember Apple? Talked about that double bottom. We talked about holding the 200-day. Okay, leave it alone. Haven't tried to pop one on that at all. Right? I mean, we talked about Starbucks being absolute just dog crap. That one worked. Airbnb, again, told you to lay off certain names, told you to look at certain names. Again, it is what it is. It's a stock picker's market. I don't mind someone going QQQ buy all the day, but go look at the whole market as a whole. And the market as a whole, it's not cut and dry. It's a few stocks, bud. And so if you want to troll on that basis, great. Don't care. That's fine. Your argument is just to spot pick your beliefs. And it's like, fine, whatever, dude. You can't bother me because I'm not going to give you power to bother me. Like, again, but I'll acknowledge your beliefs and thoughts, but I don't really give a shit in the end. Because I can 1000% know for a fact that if you posted every single one of your trades, I could easily come on to your channel and your post and go, oops, how many times have you been wrong? And again, and it's not to be condescending, that's trading. Nobody's always right. If you believe that someone is always right in trading, other than Nancy Pelosi, you're dumber than you look, I guess. Or dumber than you seem. Because that's just not how it works, y'all. That's just not how it works. XBI, yeah, we talked about it. Holding down here. I mean, how many times okay, but someone's going to say, oh, you were wrong on solar. Okay, great. Told you that shit was going to get cooked. Thanks, Aaron. Remember? Do you remember these trades? Okay, no. Remember XOP? Remember the drip? No, I know you don't. So it's okay. But for people following, yeah, some winners, some losers. Tech, yeah, I mean, I'll give you credit. QQQ has been a rocket. Is it sustainable? Well, again, if you've ever traded for any period of time, and you probably haven't because, again, the way that you're talking, trying to like be like a goofball, you don't remember this, do you? You don't remember the .com stuff. Again, the market's really good at pricing in the future. And then at some point, it's toast. Tesla, priced in this endless future. Oops, the middle finger formation is securely working. Right? Like, that's just the nature of it. Not all stocks are going to be the top 6 in the Qs. Now, again, we can argue there's other tech has done well. Yeah, semis. But here's again, if you don't know the cycle of semis, here's the education, my friend. Here is the education. Are you surprised it broke out, Dan? Yeah, absolutely. But it can correct just as much. And people go, well, semis are the future. Well, semis were the future in 2000. And they've always been the future, right? We've always been upgrading our chips and trying to do better. But AI. Let's be honest here. We know that. But AI pricing in, that's the question here. Again, credit where credit's due. I've been wrong. You were right on that. If you want to take credit, it just is what it is. If you trade long enough and you are ego based and you believe being right, and you don't, not really, if becoming right becomes an ego building process. What's the butt picture on the chart? Oh, I thought that was a double top. I thought it'd be like some sort of double top. It's more of, it should be McDonald's. I guess it's not red, but it's like the golden arches. Hopefully that makes better sense sometimes when I draw it yellow. Da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? Because, again, I don't mind people talking junk. I don't mind it at all. It's not easy. Like GDX, how many times have I warned people? Like, just wait till the Feds pivot. It's going to go nowhere. Oh, but I got to buy silver. Okay, again, all right. Okie dokie. Again, as somebody who knows a little bit about a little bit of things, am I perfect? No. Again, I just as much incorrect at times. Again, I try to tell these stories because I want people to realize, like, don't believe your own fucking hype. Excuse my language. Yeah, it's a balance between ego and confidence. Confidence to know that you've got a winner, let it ride, roll up your stops, define your risk. The more you're up, the less you own. But to sit here endlessly confident in anything, dangerous. If you want to be bullish the long-term indexes, Yeah, absolutely. Like, no one's going to say 20 years from now the Q isn't going to be higher. Yeah, I say wait for the pops. Yeah, and wait post earnings. We talk about that. Like, how many people thought, again, personally, I thought Netflix was toast. I thought this candle was done, but I'm not shorting before earnings. And here it goes. Zing. And we talked about wait for this 570 area. Let me draw some blue boxes. Let me go to the box. I think you could say somewhere in this. I don't know if we're there now. Yeah, we are. But again, do you want to be early? And I've said this over and over. And again, I'll be wrong. I'll be right sometimes. Be careful going into what? What is next week? Right? You have a Fed meeting. You still have earnings. Is the market going to actually go fucking crush? Probably not. Go long PayPal. No, PayPal is shit. I've heard people being pushing PayPal for months. And again, now I can call you out on something. Because you and probably 100 other people out there talking about PayPal. PayPal has no edge. None. Zero. You're buying a dinosaur. It's not going to, again, if you want to trade it, great. Okay, I guess. But here's an example of when a stock peaks, let it die. PayPal. And again, the people who talked about it down here, we talked about and again, I didn't talk about it on the chat, but someone said something about a professional gap. I'm like, that makes sense. It goes from 50 to 68, waiting on the CEO has some special news. When CEOs start hyping stocks, like GameStop and AMC and all these stupid, like Hertz and all these people jump on that, you're an idiot. Did you put... Yeah, exactly. Jordan, I got to give you credit. Thank you for saying it. You said there was a spread going into earnings. I don't know when you posted that. I don't remember. But yeah, we talked about like being dead money for years. And you said you saw something. I said, yeah, it makes sense. It could pop. Yeah, again, credit where credit's due. Again, it seems to have this recurring theme where it gets over the 200-day. Okay, does it pop near term? Again, I'm not saying short it here, but going long, trash. Other than the 60-65 spread, which, again, was identified by Jordan, I don't know. You want to buy it now? Okay. I don't see Aaron coming in here saying buy it in the 50s. Yeah. I think, again, you're rolling the dice. And I'm not talking to Jordan, I'm talking in general. Like, you're rolling the dice here. You're playing with trash. PayPal has no advantage. What is PayPal going to do? X is coming out with their own pay system. Banks can do their own things. Zelle, Venmo, Cash App. There's a million things. Dead money. Good luck investing in dinosaurs. Hopefully it turns to oil and gas for you at some point. It's a dead stock. It's a trading vehicle now. It's exactly like what happened with GMC. It's like, man, I got trucks on my mind. That stock got trucked. Dead money. Tell me another name that's dead money that I'm forgetting. They're just dead. So, Aaron, if you want to play the game like that, go ahead, man. Cool story, bud. I love when you guys pull out these crappy stocks and go, oh, you got to buy them. No. Stocks don't always go up. Indexes, what do? They change holdings. They turn over what's in the funds and the ETFs. They ain't buying AMC. They're not buying PayPal. Now PayPal could be a bounce target because of just being oversold. But man, like what? You're going to chase it now? Going into this supposedly big news? Buy the rumor, sell the news? How many times do I have to tell you all that? And again, I feel like I don't mean to be like critical of Bitcoin, guys. But we talked about this. Like you need to be raising your stops on the ETF release. Because every time there's been big news, this thing gets sold. And at the lows, big boys buy. That's how it works. PayPal. Again, I hope it does well for you, but that's like, again, you're buying trash and hoping to find a diamond. And what do we say? What floats last? What floats last at the end of an up move? What floats last? Can someone? I'm just going to wait and I will. No, I won't do that. What floats last? What floats last? Turds. Exactly. Trash. Aaron, why do you care about my opinion? Are we friends now? I mean, again, I don't know Altria, but I know Philip Morris had a ton of those. Again, their gum has done really well. Mo is I don't really look at, again, Mo is not a growth stock. It's just a dividend stock betting on smokers. So again, do you want to buy? Here you go, 0 for 2, in my opinion. Here's a stock that, again, you want to play it for a bounce. You're playing for the dividend. It's got a big, juicy dividend, paying $4, almost $4 a year, right? Quarterly aren't dividends. So that puts you at, 10% yield. You're just betting on smokers smoking. And I feel like in time, less people are smoking. This isn't the 1950s and 60s. Shit, even the 80s. I mean, even at one point, I was a smoker. Not heavily, but smoking cigarettes was cool. Smoking cigarettes really isn't cool anymore. I know in third world, second world, and other countries, people still smoke because cigarettes are cheap. But I don't think this is, again, why would you buy this stock? Sell me on it, Aaron. Here you go. You're on the backside again of the mountain, hoping to catch the next move. I wish you luck. Genuinely, I do. I think, again, I don't have a beef with or without, but I know these stocks. I know Mo. I know Philip Morris. I mean, I used to trade these names because, again, there used to be like they had like the whole vape and what was going on in these times. I'm trying to remember. Cigarette, I don't even remember. Whatever. Cigarettes. Yeah, but one pack of cigs in New York City is $18 for the taxes. There's no margin. Like, they're not expanding margins on cigarettes. Clearly. I mean, I remember when a pack was $1. I mean, the higher the price of cigarettes, the more the tax they're getting taxed in these higher tax states like New York. So, again, I don't... If that's your whole thesis here, then good luck. I don't know what to say. Maybe immigrants smoke? I mean, again, remember, these are big global companies. Like, they're not small. Like, they're not tied to the U.S. They have their vape products, they have their gum products, they have their cigarettes, and they have their dividends. Trying to find another Intel? Again, I don't think you need again, this is where maybe you can do whatever you want, but I'm not looking for diamonds in the rough in the market at this position. I'd be looking during the sell and the pullbacks. Like, chasing names now is just, again, it's you're subject. And again, not saying today is going to fail or the market's going to fail tomorrow or next week for sure. But you're chasing the action and you're not waiting for pullbacks and hoping that trash will float. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Again, that's where it's like, I'd rather sit on the sidelines and pull the Livermore thing. I'll go fishing. I'll go snowboarding. I'll take a few days off, a week. Let it play out. Is the market really going to absolutely dump until the Fed speak? Probably not. We know earnings. It seems like you can say anything with earnings and the stock will go up. Oh, yeah. Intel did have a big move. Not surprised. But again, the whole but it's a laggard. I mean, if you bought Intel at 28, that's cool. But AMD, Avago, fudge. SMC, how many of these other tech names, chip names, did way better than this dinosaur piece of shit? The names that I'm referring to are all like new highs. And this is just catching up, getting stuck in the resistance zone. Now, again, they're hoping for subsidies, begging for them. But I don't know. Talked about trap bull zones, and all right, you broke over. It was bullish, and then it'd come back. And then it's just one of those stocks where it's like, this is a big market cap dinosaur. Yeah, Taiwan Semi. I talked about it for like 10 minutes at the start of the video. Still think it's the easiest short of the year. Showed you in the earnings. The earnings just continue to be shit year over year. Okay, it's rising. Don't get it twisted. China has zero doubt in my mind that they're going for Taiwan at some point. They don't give a shit. Buffett sold. Oh, but Buffett was wrong. Even Buffett was wrong. But do you think what he's thinking, though? Right? Okay. I mean, I still think this is the easiest short of the year at some point. All right, stop out. That's the nature of the beast. Earnings? Okay. Going into earnings, all I had was some puts. Oops. Taking a couple days off. Do I want to be first to enter it? No. But I know Jay Solstice, some others are like, 2-day range. 2-day range in the overbought position after a monster gap. Novice gap. Has this happened before? Yeah, it has. Here you go. But then it made a slightly higher high than it was the top. Right? Novice gap, top. Big gaps. I guess that gap, but then it ran. But again, that's, you don't know. It's all the seasonality, the timing of things. Keep in mind, tech does not usually have not run it after this earnings season. It's kind of a low thing. Yeah, it really doesn't get much easier. And someone will say, and again, if Jay Solstice is wrong, Aaron will go, well, you're an idiot, probably. No, I mean, it was a clear trade, 2-day range. I mean, why would you not take the risk reward here? Go long, pray for squeezing a couple dollars out of it, maybe. I don't know. Or take the short here and go, it can easily pull back. This thing can pull back 10%, like nothing. Like it's not even a thought. It could happen within days. So again, this is where the mentality of always long, always short, always whatever. At some point you're gonna be wrong. That's why we trade. That's why you trade. And sometimes, guess what? If you get into, it's been a while, but there's gonna be some setups where I think people don't realize like how patient I am waiting for gold in the miners. Because once the miners get absolutely fucking curb stomped, like they always do, before the feds, you will buy, and they will have, again, you want to talk about Intel? No. 16 to 46 on the GDX. No, that's nothing. That's going to be cookies, because what's going to happen is gold's going to have a almost decade cup and handle breakout. Then we rip. Minimum. Okay, but you want to buy and hold NVIDIA? That's fine. Go right ahead. I don't give a shit. Or you want to say QQQ? Great. I'm not chasing it. Again, this is the thing. If I was long QQQ, it'd be no different than we were short tech. Remember last October, like, got to be careful down here, right? Like, we're coming into VAP zones. We talked about the SPY. Please, the more you're up, the less you own. Talked about it right down here. Look at the VAP. Said this area is going to be interesting. Man, it just was one touch. Thank God. Took profits, rolled up stops. Sadly, it went higher. Didn't expect it. But again, is what it is. Are you going to catch every fucking move in the market? Good luck. Good luck. Oh, just always stay long. Okay, and I will review the reason why I would say be careful believing that this year is just going to be fucking lollipops and unicorns. We haven't touched VIX spike as the recession's coming. 47.50, not even close. When does it happen? I wish I knew it was tomorrow, because then I look like the smartest guy in the world, but I don't know that for sure. But I do know when the VIX is down this low and idiots are chasing stocks up and going, it's only going to go higher always. Okay, I wish you luck. Because again, I mean, do we assume that this election is going to be lollipops and rainbows. No, it's going to be a freaking mess. Trump is going to run on cutting spending. I mean, you can tell Tesla, people know something about Tesla. We talked about him saying very clearly that whole electric car mandate, done. If he wins. Again, I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about like strategy, what he said. Government subsidies, done. Oh, but Tesla is such a good buy. Then why isn't it rising today? Now, I'm not saying like tomorrow it couldn't pop or something like in a little bit. Somebody knows something, y'all. Someone always does. So again, Aaron, if you come to the channel because you just want to talk junk, great. We're here trotting ideas. Like, there's nobody in the Discord room who's not been wrong or had a mistake or done something wrong. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just the people who take on the highest risk stuff. I'm like, all right, good luck with that. Good luck. You want to buy stocks down here? Keep telling yourself you said QQQ would bounce back in November. Okay, we got another one. No, we talked about it bouncing. We talked about the market. No, don't even go there. October, November. Yeah. We talked about it being oversold. Don't even do that, man. That's so rude. So rude. Now again, being wrong shorting, not gonna deny that. Come on, man. It's the nature of the beast. Again, pull out any fucking chart and tell me where you've been 100% right all the time. It's just not how it works. But no one's going to give me credit for solar, what I said with solar, what I've said with gold and the miners, what we said with certain sectors, whatever. Again, I don't want to even like pretend like I have to justify it to you, but that's the point. If you want to cherry pick my mistakes, that's fine. I don't care. I'm being deadly honest. Like, it's not always easy. Based on what's going on in the world, is it assumption that this would rip higher and last forever? No, but does anyone pay attention to liquidity they pumped in the market since then? Couldn't have known that because they're talking QT, quantitative tightening, yet behind the scenes they're trying to pump money into the system. Yeah, Tesla 300. I mean, there's so many of these names, stocks. Again, but this is the irony, is that no matter what, there's been names that have gone down and some that have gone up. So I don't care. I mean, again, there's some names that have gone down and some that have gone up. So if you want to just cherry pick the Qs, that's great. That's great. Cool. But I know for a fact there were some good trades with shorting Google, some good trades with shorting Amazon, great trades shorting Amazon or Apple. Oh, it has to fill the gap. Go back to those videos. I said, no, it doesn't. Said, watch out down here. Hitting some zones. Oh, double top. Take your profits. Oversold. I literally said, this is, again, when this thing gets oversold, it typically rallies at some point. Then you had the double bottom. Cool. No short in Apple. But again, tell me how I was wrong on the Qs and how I'm wrong on everything. No, that is comedy. Comedy. How about the KOLD? Well, that was a bad trade, wasn't it? Talk about shorting up here. Talk about taking profits down in the lows. No. I love when people just go, you're one trade. And I'll tell you the trades I was wrong on. Costco, I don't have no problem with that. Because I define my risk before I get in a trade. Only clowns are the ones who go, well, I'm just going to let it run. I can't be wrong. No, I know for a fact I can be wrong. You can be wrong. That's not how this works. So again, if you want to pick and cherry pick, whatever. Again, CF said lay off of this. Said lay off these names. Again, financials think it's a good short up here. Been really patient. All right, well, went a little higher. All right, got stopped out. I'll come back later. If I have to, I'll wait. What did we say? What was it? I talked about the housing index. Like, I think this is an absolute dream short up here. Talked about in the daily market review 2 days ago how DR Horton is like has no margin. Trying to give away money to provide loans so that people will buy houses. Okay, I'm wrong on one trade. Clearly it pissed you off that I was saying short and you went long. Why? I don't know. Good question. Great question. Focus on you, man. Imagine if I had to focus on like everybody who said anything to me all the time in trading. No, I'm just trying to do the best I can. But I guarantee my batting averages are better than yours. I can bet that. Here's one that we did not expect. CRM. Again, said watch this area. Broke out. Okay. Not saying short, but to me, like again, you're getting extreme. But then you pull up the monthly, right? You go, huh. Did it just fill the gap? Looks like it. So again, it's probability. It's a trader's market. That's if you want to argue about the Qs, I don't care. Whatever, I don't give a shit. It's been a stock picker's market. And to me, that says something. Right? We talked about the IWM being absolute dog shit and continuing to lag. Still 25, 23% off the highs. Like zoom out, right? Oh, but Dan, you were confused. And it's like, well, because the data wasn't clear. Oh, okay. I mean, again, I'm going to be wrong. I don't sit here and promise certainty. And so, again, if you want to take it upon your, like, if it boldens your ego and makes you feel better, go right ahead, man. If me losing makes you feel better, great. I don't care. I don't ever wish negative on anyone. I want everyone to win. But I guess what? It's just not the possible. Buy looks like a lower high, double top. Intraday, I'm assuming. Yeah, you got 2 days. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the thing. I mean, where's Jay? And again, Cooper, you guys can all put it on the chart. Dan got stopped out of his last short with financials. I put the arrow on myself. I said that yesterday. Again, I have no problem calling myself out. Yeah, it can change fast. I'll even put it on there. There you go. But looks good. No, I mean, that's the thing. I personally hope it dumps. I don't care. I don't have a single position, for full disclosure. I want it to drop for the people who are taking advantage of the shorts. Because, again, the ups action is just insanity. It's not sustainable. But I can always get back in later. And then, again, I'm mentally just like, you know what? I need a little vacation from it. Because, again, it just is what it is. People know. Like, there was other people who got frustrated or in positions where like, I don't know. And they just, again, you step out, give itself time. That's just the nature of the beast. It's not easy. Yep, exactly. No, and you guys have been nailing some things too. Again, no one have I, and again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Have I not said in the Discord room, if you want to go long things, go right ahead. Pick and choose your stocks. Never said, oh, you can't short. No, you got to be not ashamed to admit you don't know sometimes. Like, I didn't know the feds were pumping liquidity behind the scenes where they're doing QT. Like, that seems very confusing. So, I don't know. I mean, again, we could sit here and spin in circles. There's no reason to wrap our heads around the axle at this point. I completely agree that stock pickers market, for example, look at Regeneron versus Pfizer, both big pharma and trading. Yeah, oh yeah, well, I mean, we know Pfizer. You got the Pfizer smile. What do they call it after you get the shot? Somebody thinks it's probably bottom down there. You got some massive references long term. Again, I just don't think COVID's going to be an issue, in my opinion. Regeneron, yeah. Regeneron! Yeah, this one's been a beast. Why don't I have all that stuff drawn on it? Oh, interesting. I don't have any of the shit drawn on it. I used to follow this one a lot. Let's draw for fun. Man, broke out of the channel. Is this a fake out? Ooh. Always a fan of fake breakouts and breakdowns. Because think about what happens here. Like, again, maybe they have something cooking. I don't know. But when something trades in a channel, we've seen at major inflection points, again, you can't really take that there, but you'll break out and then turn right back in. It's a trap, right? It's a trap. Oh, NVIDIA starting to get tired. Interesting. We'll see. I mean, yeah, fast money guys talking about taking profits. And that's the thing. I mean, I'll end it with that. Is like, yeah, I mean, raise your stops. If you're long these names, you got to be very careful. Am I going to go on record today thinking that today's the top? I've seen bigger moves. We've talked about the Tesla top. Like, that to me was so obvious when it was just doing this. Like, it broke out of the channel, and then it went. I was like, at some point, these dojis thought it might be here, but then it was like, oh, here's your little novice dojis. It was done. But then look how long it chopped out. I don't know if we're going to have that effect, but man, Tesla is just a dog. Caterpillar, again, I'm so glad somebody came here talking junk about it because it literally hit the trend line. It's not like I even drew, if you go watch it, it's not like I drew that today. That's been there. I've said waiting for it, and I put that arrow there and said, I hope that's not the top, and I was wrong. There you go. Waiting to exhale on Caterpillar. I mean, it's a very easy short with a stop, like tight stop. Now, is it up on the China stimulus? I'm assuming it is. But as we told you guys, like, again, people they're not paying their debts. China can print all the money they want. Airbnb looks bullish. Okay. Why does Airbnb look bullish? Because I think it's a short? Is that why you're just kind of like, you have this Dan is wrong kind of belief? Okay. I mean, here's another one, a donkey. I like this probably in time, but if you're paying attention to what's going on in the world, everywhere is killing short-term rentals. They don't want this. Like, cities don't want this. They do not want Airbnbs everywhere. They want people owning houses. They don't want investors. They're trying to penalize them. So just be careful. Again, I personally think, again, if it's a housing-related, consumer spending-related type of problem, again, go look at the consumer spending, blowing out their credit cards. People really going to be Airbnb-ing it a ton? No, there's clearly a roof over the ceiling at the moment. But this one was an easy short. That was easy. This was easy. Now, again, we talked about taking profits because, again, if the market's rising, it's probably not going to absolutely get destroyed. It could. But there's very clear references down here. I mean, not going back to the fact that's been there. Why? Go zoom out, right? This box, that's why I love boxes. People are like, oh, I'll draw trend lines. I'm like, nah, sometimes the boxes matter. Well, I would argue it's neither bullish or bearish. You can't get over the upper range and you can't break below the lower range. Then at this point, I mean, I see lower highs and lower lows. Bullish, okay. I mean, maybe, again, what's your time frame? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour? Okay, I guess. I don't know. Jeez, I mean, so many. To me, that doesn't look bullish. I mean, if you look at the monthly, this is what happened. It's like it's trading in this big downward wedge, and I don't know why it wouldn't get crushed even more at time. Airbnb is not some sort of, like, again, someone wanted to compete with them at some point, they could. Their software, everything they do, nothing is proprietary. Just they have market share. So at this point, I don't know. I mean, if you want to argue that it's bullish, give me some evidence of why. To me, it has a ceiling, and it's making lower lows off of the highs. So if you're bullish because I've said it's bearish, then cool. You can kiss my ass. I don't care. But at this point, if it pops, I'm looking for shorts. Makes sense. Stay bullish, I guess, if you want. I mean, that's again, it's a stock picker's market. If you want to stay bullish, stay the names that are leading. Is Airbnb leading? Survey says no. So I'll end it on that. Appreciate it again. I love when people show up, even if they don't like what I'm saying. I mean, let's talk about it. Let's. You have just as free reign. I will repeat your comments back in the chat. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to sit here and try to make a one-sided argument, but if you say Airbnb looks bullish, zoom out. It doesn't really look bullish at all. Not at all. Looks like a big downward spiraling wedge. That post-IPO, CEO, everybody unloaded. They're done. Government regulations coming. Again, I'm in real estate. I see what's going on. Like in Denver, you can't Airbnb unless it's your primary residence. How many people want to Airbnb their primary residence? Nobody. All right, well, there's a lot of these laws in other cities. New York City, they're trying to pop more of these, if I remember right. Again, just look at the trend. Look at the trend. Of course, the hotels are like, yeah, screw that. They're obviously pumping hard to the government. Don't allow Airbnbs. And now all the investors that have bought up all these cities and all these rent properties, they basically control the inventory. And the government's not liking it because they want people to be able to have affordable housing. Well, investors are trying to make profits. Good luck to see who wins that battle. All right, well, again, I appreciate all the comments. Even if you don't agree, I appreciate you stepping in. And if you want to clown, talk junk, I really don't care. But I do appreciate you talking at certain times because, again, the Brandons of the worlds, again, if you want to stay bullish, you look like a genius. But if I was long, no matter, even if this is the thing, this is what I would do. I'd be raising my stops. I wouldn't be getting aggressively more bullish. I wouldn't sit here going, oh, I got to go more bullish. No, I'd be raising my stops. Now, again, do I think the market dumps before the FOMC? Probably not, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to rise. Like you have the goal, and again, we'll end here. The goal is the fat chunks in the middle, right? Try to get towards the lows. Try to get near the highs. That's all you can do. You know, like I said, man, I think this is the thing. I've always said when I take a break, I have to take a break, Jordan. So I think if you're looking at it, remember earnings are on the 5th. But the short makes sense there. I would maybe wait for a retest if you really have to. If you got the highs, you're good. You probably got a partial amount. If you want to, wait for a retest to reload. Or, again, just be careful because you're going into earnings. I mean, it's rising on the China bullshit, in my opinion. That's fine. All right, hope this helps. Again, just talk about the psychology of what's going to happen. Again, if you're just staying long, it'd be no different than the same folks that when we're at the lows going, time to buy, it's time to go long. They're going, oh, the world's going to end. I'm going to keep holding it. And it's like, okay, just keep an eye on NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA has clearly been the leader. Keep an eye on the semis. How much more do they have to run? I don't know. All right, I appreciate you guys. Even if you hate me, I don't care. I'm still want you to win. I still want people who don't agree with my trades to win because I want you to be careful. I don't want you to get blown out. Where's the fun if all of a sudden you're not around here in a couple of days, weeks, months? All right, talk soon. Peace.